Fox Sports presenteert...
Oh, what a catch. It is gone. He's done it again.
De MLB World Series. De ontknoping van de Amerikaanse honkbalcompetitie. Kan de Nederlander Bogaerts geschiedenis schrijven? De Cardinals tegen de Red Sox. Major League Baseball, live op Fox Sports.
And there they are. Boy, it's tight windows. He's throwing it through the screen door tonight.
No shades of gray there.
No, sir. And that kickoff through the end zone. And they started the game, of course, giving up a kickoff return for a touchdown. And here's an 8-yard run by Eddie Lacy. Out to the 28-yard line, tackled by Xavier Rhodes. Rogers, 13 of 16, 2 touchdowns, both going to Jordy Nelson. And Adrian Peterson's numbers are okay, 4.6 yards per carry, but that one run at the end of the half was gigantic. Instead of it being 24-13, it makes it 24-17. It's a 1-touchdown game, and Miles White drops it out in the flat, 3rd and 2.
It's one thing that Aaron Rodgers was concerned about. You know, you can make plays like that in practice all day long, but you have to be able to translate it to the game. Last week, Jared Boykin did exactly that, catching balls for over 100 yards. But Aaron Rodgers said, you know what? I know I have to be patient. I know I have to be willing to let there be a few mistakes out here with these young guys. And he's not going to shy away from Miles White.
3rd and 2. Fired over the middle. Who else? Jordy Nelson. Up to the 39-yard line. Andrew Sendejo making the tackle.
Well, let's say it's no mystery who he wants to throw the football to. And Jordy Nelson has been the guy that when it has to happen, going all the way back to some of those plays he made in the Super Bowl for him, there comes a trust level. And as he looks around, there just aren't other guys out there that he has that kind of belief in. 3rd down, where does he go? Jordy Nelson.
Nelson, 4 catches in triple figures now at 105 yards. Give it to Lacy. Lacy bursting through the middle across the 50-yard line. That'll be a 1st down on a gain of 11 yards for the rookie out of Alabama, who's now carried 15 times tonight for 51 yards.
Watch the guys over here, and they're getting it done. Don Barclay, T.J. Lang. And I tell you, this is a different-looking Packers team right now because of the balance that they have.
Packers going no huddle. Lacy again to the 40-yard line, and you can see why they love him. He's had a lot of runs for losses tonight, but when he gets going, doesn't even have to get going. He those hard 7, 8, 9-yard runs. He's had a few of them.
And it's really helping David Bakhtiari on the outside that time, just turning out Jared Allen. But that little jump cut by Eddie Lacy, for a guy his size, you just don't usually see that. You know, a guy like the Bus had it, but not many people do.
2nd and 1. Rodgers feeling the pressure, stepping away and then throwing incomplete, intended for Boykin. You had Chris Cook taking him to the ground as the ball got there, and a flag is down. Scott Green is the referee.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, 69 of the offense, 15-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And that's the rookie left tackle, David Bakhtiari.
And Bakhtiari's had a few issues with holding penalties and the like this year. He's been doing a nice job tonight. He's the guy that really has been a total surprise. You know, they spent all this money and all these top draft picks on Brian Bulaga and Derek Sherrod, and they no way in the world thought this 4th-round draft pick, David Bakhtiari, was going to end up starting. And Aaron Rodgers says the nicest thing I can say about anybody on the offensive line is we don't talk about him. We don't worry about him. We don't give him excess help. He's getting the job done. Hurt him there, though.
He's actually now been penalized for holding at least once in each of the last 6 games. 2nd down and 16. And that's caught by White. And White will get thrown to the ground by Xavier Rhodes up at the 49-yard line.
But I'll say this about knowing who you're playing with again. Aaron Rodgers, if you're going to rush 4 against him, there is always a gap. There is always an opening somewhere to step up and move through. Nobody does it better than Aaron Rodgers, finding that gap. If you miss your guy completely, don't worry about it. Rodgers will make it work. Don't hold. Don't grab the face mask.
Packers 8 for 10 on third down tonight, plus a gift on a penalty, and 1 for 1 on fourth down. And Rodgers just does get it off, and it's caught by the rookie White, but he'll come up short at the 41-yard line.
Now here's the Green Bay Packers staple right here. Watch the wide receivers out here. They're just going to block. They're not even looking for the football. Get the ball out of your hands quickly so it's not pass interference, and they almost picked up that first down. So with Aaron Rodgers back there close enough to go for it here.
Or at least to line up to go for it.
Well, they went for it last time. They had one of these at about this spot, a little closer than this, though.
Yeah, this is fourth down and 3.
This is where you'd like to have a Jermichael Finley on the field.
Going for it again on 4th and 3. Nelson to the 34-yard line, and he's tackled by Rhodes. So you got Nelson, who's now the main guy, going up against a rookie out of Florida State.
Well, just a memo to the league. You know, when it's 4th and 3, this is the play the Green Bay Packers run almost all the time. You know, there's just isn't that big a mystery to it, and yet somehow they keep finding a way. There's some magic out there with Jordy Nelson. Look at that.
Now Lacey. Boy, he loves going through that middle to the 28-yard line. 2nd and 4.
I mean, this is the kind of patience that often it takes 7-8 years for a back to get. Watch how slow to the hole he is here, and then that little jump cut, take your time. Now you see the hole, and he has the quickness and the speed to go there. He's not a speedster by any means, but he is a guy that is quick, and once he gets going downhill, he's hard to handle. He's a big guy.
This is the opening drive of the second half. And they give it to Lacey, and Lacey's going to get tackled after he broke an initial tackle. Greenway was there first, and then Henderson made sure he finished him off. 3rd down, 3.
You know, Chad Greenway is one of the best tacklers in football. He has led the Vikings in tackles, I think, the last 5 years in a row, and he just bounced off of Lacey right there.
There's the defensive coordinator, Alan Williams, trying to solve this 3rd down issue, which has been killing the team this year and tonight as well. 3rd down and 3 from the 26. Rodgers feels the pressure. He's going to take off. First down and a lot more. Out of bounds he goes at the 11-yard line. Jared Allen forced him out, and then Rodgers, of course, who can do a lot of damage with his legs, does some right there, a gain of 14.
We talked about it. 4-man rush. There will be a gap somewhere. You tell me. Here's the gap right there. Guess what Aaron Rodgers does? He finds it, and another first down. It's what kills you with this guy. There are so many ways for him to beat you. He's beaten him with his mind tonight with some unbelievable throws, sort of into coverage, and several times now with his legs.
Rodgers has run for at least 200 yards in each of the past 5 years. Tonight, 26 yards, so he's already over 100 for the season, and he'll take a timeout here. Timeout, Green Bay. Green Bay's first half possessions, touchdown, field goal, touchdown. Their first possession here, they started at their own 20. They've had the ball 6.5 minutes. 11 plays, 68 yards, and they have a 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. Final season at the Metrodome for the Vikings. The workhorse, Lacey. Another real tough 7-yard run this time. 7, 8, 9 yards when he's not losing yardage. And Lacey tonight with 76 total yards on 17 carries.
Well, now they can get in this bunch formation, which is usually sort of a passing pick kind of situation, pull Don Barclay out, and you've got a hammer late in the game that no defensive back really wants to tackle. And you could see Mistrail Raymond there come up and throw at him, but not really too interested in taking on that big guy.
2nd and 2 from the 4. Rolling right. And that pass is incomplete. So here you go again. I know we've been talking about this since the beginning of the game. They're 9 for 12 on 3rd down, which means they've missed 3 3rd downs, and then they went for on 4th down on 2 of those. So only once tonight has Minnesota been able to stop them on 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, and unfortunately, in this situation, you have to worry about them running it now. You have to worry about Aaron Rodgers running it now. So even though you feel pretty good about covering the wideouts, these other elements now are making a huge difference in this game.
Nelson at the bottom of the screen. Rodgers gonna run it. Gonna run it to the end zone. And Xavier Rhodes, for the moment, appeared to have stopped him. Head linesman comes in, and they're going to spot the ball just short of the goal line, but it's still going to be a 1st down, 1st and goal.
Well, they're going to say they blew the whistle for forward progress there, but here we go again. 4-man rush. There's going to be a hole. Where do you think it is? Right where Aaron Rodgers is going. You know, he just has a knack. He doesn't even have to look at what's happening in front of him. He just knows where that gap is going to be, and he takes advantage. He thinks he's Eddie Lacy there now. He covers up and almost got it in the end zone.
Well, they try to push him in, but the play had been blown dead.
I think Aaron Rodgers saying, hey, hang on, guys, man, we'll get it next down.
1st and goal. Newhouse reported as tackle eligible here on the right side. Gonna give it to Lacy. Barrels in. Touchdown, Green Bay. So they take the ball, go 80 yards, 15 plays, 9 runs, 6 passes, and eat up 8 minutes and 10 seconds.
The hammer is right, and I think Aaron Henderson would agree. Had him dead to rights in the hole. That's their best tackler, leading tackler on the team, and he didn't even get close to stopping him. Didn't even break his momentum. Just goes right underneath him. I tell you, when they start getting some of these receivers back, the Green Bay Packers are looking more and more dangerous.
A little frightening for the rest of the league as Crosby boots it through. 6:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and the Packers are back up on top by 2 touchdowns. On NBC. And Minnesota will finally get the ball in the 3rd quarter, but that defense has been an issue tonight. There's Mike Singletary, assistant head coach, linebackers coach as well. Adrian Peterson now in his 7th year in the league. He's played 12 games against the Packers. 5.6 average is great. 9 TDs. 1,442 yards over what would amount to be like 3/4 of a season. 12 games. 120.2, 3rd highest in history against one team. Jamal Lewis against the Browns. Jim Brown against the Eagles. The only guys who would have a higher per game average against one team than that man against Green Bay. So they start from the 20-yard line, their first possession of this half, and it starts with a very short run as Adrian Peterson gets bottled up. Johnny Jolly leading the charge across the line. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Well, Johnny Jolly's had quite the path here to get back in with the Green Bay Packers. Had to serve a little jail time, but came back incredibly humble, went back to work. They're happy to have him.
From the 22-yard line, Peterson again up to the 29-yard line, and a flag is thrown.
Holding. 63 offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Brandon Fusco. Back to Jolly. Jolly hasn't played since '09. An admitted codeine addict, arrested on drug charges, violated terms of his probation, and so he was gone, and then he was able to get reinstated by the league. And Mike McCarthy just speaking glowingly about, he came in, he knew he was wrong. He says, I've cleaned everything up, and he's back in the NFL. 2nd and 18 after the hold. To the 21 goes Peterson. Let's check in with Michelle.
Al, I spoke to Johnny Jolly, Al, and he told me he was elated when he finally got that NFL's reinstatement letter. He said, I'm blessed. A lot of people never get a second opportunity. And as you mentioned, Mike McCarthy said that when Jolly came in for his initial, touch base meeting with the Packers, he was showing nothing but extreme gratitude, no entitlement whatsoever.
And he's been a force defensively, Michelle, as well. And on 3rd down, Ponder gets taken down by Mike Daniels. So Minnesota, after an 8-minute Green Bay drive, finally gets the ball, and it results in a very fast 3-and-out.
I tell you, Mike Daniels has been playing a bigger and bigger role. That's his 3rd sack now on the season, and he's the one guy out of some of these big defensive linemen, the Ryan Pickett and the B.J. Raji, that has the ability to win those one-on-one pass battles. He has been a big factor so far.
And his 2nd sack of the game tonight. You saw Kevin Green, the linebacker coach, Locke's kick, fielded at the 36. Here's Hyde, who ran one all the way back in the first half, and a penalty on the run back. Flag thrown right back at the 36-yard line, just about where the run back started.
But again, a penalty on that drive. This Vikings offense, they can't overcome those.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 85, 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Rodgers and company back to work and up by 14 in Minnesota. Golden Gophers, that's where the Vikings will play over the next 2 years while they build their new stadium on the footprint of this stadium. Right now 45 degrees outside. Of course, it's nice and toasty here. The new stadium will be a dome, but for the next 2 years they'll play outdoors. As Starks is the running back here. Meanwhile, a huge win for the Gophers yesterday against Nebraska.
Yeah, Michelle and her family a little excited about that one, weren't they?
Yeah, for
a
sure.
lot of history there, going back there. Her husband Mark was a baseball player there. Her father-in-law Bruce was a coordinator there, and there's a guy a little excited about his new stadium.
Ziggy Wolf, and that's where they'll play. Take a look at those temperatures in December. Well, the Vikings had to play a Monday night game there in 2010 after the roof caved in here because of snow. And Rodgers, they had him by the shirt, but he's able to get away. Flag is thrown. And it was at that stadium where Brett Favre's career ended on that Monday night.
Holding offense, number 67, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Don Barclay.
Well, Everson Griffin had a jersey full that time of Aaron Rodgers, but couldn't quite get him. Don Barclay working right here. You can see Griffin, he got hold of the jersey, but that wasn't enough. And then Barclay gave a little hold and trying to protect the MVP. Why not? But again, I say, have a little faith that Aaron Rodgers is going to escape. More often than not, he does.
4:06 remaining in the third. Second down, 21. Rodgers will take the ball out to the 20-yard line. He's tackled there by Chad Greenway. Rodgers tonight has packed it in 4 times for 34 yards.
Well, now you've got to make a play. I mean, you're at that point in the ball game. Your offense, you have to wonder how many points do the Minnesota Vikings have in them, but you have to win 3rd and 15 here. And for Aaron Rodgers, a lot of offenses sort of give up here and hand it off and draw. Believe me, this guy thinks he can pick up this first down.
Has to get it to the 36. Under pressure. Directing traffic, and then the pass is caught, and then it's Boykin. Tremendous job, because he was down before the first down line, wasn't contacted, makes the catch, knows exactly where he was on the field, and is able to reach across for a first down.
Well, Brian Robinson had him, and you've got to be able to contain him. Jared Allen saying the thing that this guy does is he kills us on the scramble drill here. Robinson's got him, he escapes, he gets out, and then Jared Boykin, like a veteran receiver, found the open zone, and then like a veteran receiver, made the dive for the first down.
Location, location, location. Knew exactly where he was. Picks up the first. Boykin making his first start ever last week, and had a 100-yard day against Cleveland, including a touchdown. Starks to the 39-yard line he goes, tackled by Sendejo.
But you go back to Robinson on that play, and you have to understand what you're dealing with there. It's 3rd down and 15, and all you want to do is just contain Aaron Rodgers. If he throws a dump down, whatever, that's okay. But by allowing him to scramble that 4, 5, 6 seconds, it's too much. You've got to be able to say, all right, I'm at least going to contain him here and make him throw the check down.
2nd and 8. And the play clock down to 2. Big hole for Starks. He takes it to the 50-yard line. First down, Packers.
Well, one guy that I've got to be a little bit happy for is Josh Sitton right here working against Sharif Floyd. The guy was the Pro Bowl alternate, it seemed like forever, every single year, and finally last year broke through and very deservedly made the Pro Bowl and just continues to make blocks like that. That was picture perfect.
Packers have run 53 plays to the Vikings 30. And the 54th play is a Starks first down run for 11 yards, tackled by Rhodes, takes it to the 39-yard line.
Well, across the board now, this offensive line simply taking over. Evan Dietrich Smith, TJ Lang, they're just starting to dominate up front. And the one thing that we heard a little of this week is that the Minnesota Vikings now are acknowledging they have to get better at that defensive tackle position. They used to be dominant. They are no more, and it's showing up here tonight.
They had the Williams wall for so many years. And staying in bounds and picking up the first down is Miles White. So it doesn't matter that Jones is gone, that Cobb is gone, that Finley is gone. You got Miles White, you got Jared Boykin. Even Quarles has had a couple of moments tonight, and of course there's always Jordy Nelson.
Well, you think about this now. 3 of his 7 receivers played in their first game last week. Jared Boykin, Brandon Bostic, 2 more of his receivers, both second-year college free agents. Andrew Quarles missed time last year with a knee. Rookie running backs, and what's Aaron Rodgers doing? He's tearing it up.
Packers own the third quarter, under 3, 31-17 Green Bay. Sunday Night Football resumes after this.
Dickies.
Radler. Nieuw Amstel Radler. De natuurlijke mix van Amstel bier en citroenwater. Amstel Radler. Dubbel verfrissend. En wegens groot succes is Amstel Radler nu ook verkrijgbaar in het gele krat.
Pre-orderen nu voor Xbox 360.
Bij HBO zie je niet alleen de nieuwste series, maar ook de grootste films. Kijk ze waar en wanneer jij wil. Word nu abonnee. Ga naar itshbo.nl.
Oh? Online.nl heeft alweer een ongelofelijke aanbieding. Nu, bij Alles in één, de allernieuwste Samsung Galaxy Tab 3 cadeau. Internet, bellen en tv voor een Hollandse prijs. Stap nu over naar online.nl.
Het is winterwarmen bij Basic Fit. Dat zijn voordelen waar je warm voor loopt. Onbeperkt sporten voor maar €15,95 per maand. Gratis inschrijven en een Basic Fit handdoek cadeau. Laat de winter maar komen. Kom op nou.
Ben jij gelukkig getrouwd? Ik ook. www.secondlove.nl.
Winterwarmen bij Basic Fit. Nog 4 dagen gratis inschrijven. Kom op nou.
Within a heartbeat, you change reality. When I'm with you, zero gravity.
De nieuwe Skoda Rapid Spaceback geeft ruimte en nieuw perspectief.
Vrouwen, waarom zoveel verzorgingsproducten? Wij mannen houden het graag simpel. 1 fles Head & Shoulders 2-in-1 is alles wat je nodig hebt. Houd je tot 100% roosvrij en conditioneert voor mooi en verzorgd haar. Geweldig haar, geen gedoe. Head & Shoulders 2-in-1.
De nieuwe Skoda Rapid Spaceback. Al vanaf €16.290. 7 november bij de dealer.
Third quarter owned by the Packers. They ran 22 plays to Minnesota's 1-3 and out. And Rodgers leads them to the line at the 24 of the Vikings, 1st and 10. And Rodgers not going far this time. Tackled behind the line of scrimmage by Troy Guyon.
Boy, they did not like that late hit. A couple of their offensive linemen saw Mistrail Raymond come in and take a shot on their quarterback, and TJ Lang was up right away, giving a little shove. This is what you're afraid of. Here's the franchise. I don't care what you want to say, all the heart of these other guys, but you can't get that guy hurt, and you're in a little bit of a comfortable game right now. I think I'd tell Aaron, hey, take it easy. You had your big runs. We don't always have to have you at this point in the game.
Just for the record, the backup quarterback is Seneca Wallace.
That's a name they do not want to hear in Green Bay. No offense to Seneca.
Right. And through the middle, there goes Starks. And Starks all the way to the end zone. Well, the Green Bay Packers talking about finding a running game. That's 25 yards, and that's 168 yards on the ground tonight for the Green Bay Packers.
Well, I tell you what, Evan Dietrich Smith, the center, is coming up with a big game tonight. Watch this finish on the block. It's one thing to make a block. It's another thing to finish with the guy on his back. Can't do any better than that. And for all we want to talk about with Eddie Lacy tonight, getting James Starks back now. This is a 1-2 punch. Now, understand they're playing the Vikings. I got that. It's not the greatest defense. This isn't Kansas City or Carolina, but this has been impressive tonight.
Crosby makes the score 38-17 as the Packers are rolling, trying to make it 4 wins in a row. Four yards in. This will be run back by Patterson. And he's tackled at the 18-yard line. Early fourth. Green Bay up by 3 touchdowns. We mentioned this to Aaron Rodgers last night. Even he was stunned. You're looking at the only 3 guys on the entire 53-man Green Bay roster who've ever played for a team apart from Green Bay. Wallace, Pickett, and Kuhn, and there is Ted Thompson, the very beneath the radar general manager and the architect of this team, a man that the staff and the players called the Ghost. He's there, but you don't know he's there. But what a magnificent job he has done. And Ponder's going to get taken down at the 18-yard line. Lattimore making the tackle. And the 3 guys that you saw with Thompson, 50 of the 53 have never played anywhere but Green Bay. So he drafts well. He finds the right free agents. They're all homegrown. They picked up Pickett years ago from St. Louis. Kuhn had played with Pittsburgh for a brief while, but he's been here since 07. And Seneca Wallace came over this year as a backup. That's it. Everybody else homegrown. Well, and this is Peterson. And Chris, just one other point is that there's no other team that has even 40 guys that you can say that about. And this team has 50. So you know how the Packers have been built, and they have been so good for so long. A lot of kudos go to that organization.
Yeah, and I think it's part of the magic that it's not a me first kind of team, and that permeates through the organization, including Ted Thompson, including Mike McCarthy. I think it's part of the reason where a lot of people were so stunned that Greg Jennings made those kind of comments. A couple of guys told me, he goes, it's just not what we do as the Green Bay Packers, and so that was the startling part for them.
Well, it's startling right now, and you can tell that the crowd is so frustrated. Bags are coming out and all of that, and the team's on their way to going 1-6. And now with the trade deadline coming up on Tuesday, you're looking at Adrian Peterson. I would be stunned if he got dealt. Jared Allen, some talk about maybe his getting dealt.
And other people interested in being the dealtee.
Right. Like Denver, San Francisco, and Seattle, perhaps.
Yeah.
And that kick will be down at the 45-yard line. Green Bay has the ball back.
Deadline coming up.
Right. Better be quick. Deadline is Tuesday. Halloween is what? Thursday night.
I think that's right.
Green Bay 5 possessions tonight, 4 touchdowns and a field goal, and they've also run a punt back for a touchdown. It's not factored in to that equation. And Lacey to the 47, and let's go to Minnesota's Michelle.
Well, you mentioned Jared Allen and some trade rumors out there today. I chatted with Vikings owner Ziggy Wilf down here on the field before the game. I asked him about whether he'd be willing to trade Allen to get something for him before the end of the season. He said those reports are baloney. He said Jared was just too good and, quote, we're going to keep him. So that's according to Ziggy Wilf as late as tonight, Al.
Did he say baloney, or is that a euphemism?
No, he said baloney,
okay,
which is, we say that here in Minnesota.
Right. Very kind. 2nd down and 8 from the 47. And that pass a little low, but there is Nelson reaching down for it and making the grab about a yard shy of a first down.
But you put a little mayonnaise on it, a couple slices of bread, and all of a sudden a sandwich comes out here, and still wouldn't surprise me to see a deal done. I tell you, Jordy Nelson has been fantastic. I mean, that's the one sort of trusted agent that Aaron Rodgers has, and he's really come out of nowhere. There's Rick Spielman, who's going to have to make those decisions, and won't be easy. I'd be stunned if Adrian Peterson were considered, although at this point in the season for the Vikings, probably everything will be discussed.
3rd down and 1, Rodgers, and getting free and making the catches, Boykin. He goes to the 20-yard line. So Boykin, his second start, big game last week, and tonight Boykin, that's 4 catches, 72 yards. That's good for 26.
Great release, great double move, put the hand up, hesitate and go. He was around last year, and he's a guy that, he's kind of a nervous guy, according to Aaron Rodgers. So every time he drops a pass in practice, he's like, oh, they're going to cut me. I know they're going to cut me. Because, man, they're all I've got. They're not going to cut you, and he's been playing really well.
Hey, 50.
Rodgers, 21 of 26 tonight, 266. Lacey staying alive. Down to the 16-yard line he goes. The other thing, too, you look at Green Bay, they have a pretty soft schedule, relatively speaking, as you head down the stretch. going to bring it up for you. There it is. Chicago next week at home. No Cutler. Philly at home. Well, they lost to the Giants today. Then they go to the Giants. Then they have Minnesota in Green Bay, at Detroit, big one. Atlanta all of a sudden 2-5. They go to Lambeau. So I know every coach is going to say every game's a tough game and all that, but statistically speaking, it's one of the softer remaining schedules in the league as Lacy takes the ball to the 10-yard line.
That's the reason I always laugh. People will take a schedule at the beginning of the year and say, oh boy, look at this. This is a hard schedule. This is an easy schedule. So you're out of your mind. You don't know what you're talking about. It's upside down. But one guy that has not been upside down tonight is Eddie Lacy. And he just keeps getting better. This is 4 straight games for him now with over 20 carries. I think it's fairly safe to say that he has become the man now. He is going to be the guy that's going to get those 20-plus carries every week. James Starks now looks like he's probably going to be the number 2. Franklin, a couple of fumbling issues, probably now number 3.
3rd and 1. And Lacy, another conversion and a 1st and goal. Don Barclay, the right tackle, with the escort.
Mariano Rivera, there's nothing better than having one of these big backs on your team that can close the deal. You know, you get a lead and you want to run out the clock, and here's a guy with enough speed to get to the edge. This is another thing they've been doing. Andrew Corliss made a couple of nice catches early in this game, but his edge blocking in this one has made a difference too.
First and goal from the 4. And this was Jordy Nelson, stopped about a half-yard shy. That chant you just heard was "Go Pack Go," because Green Bay is only a 4.5-hour drive from here. The Wisconsin border is a half an hour from here, so always a ton of Packer fans at these games. And some yawning, because the score is 38-17.
You know, there's nothing worse as a player than when opposing fans are in here having a party in your place. I mean, I've been through it a few times in my career. You know, Pittsburgh used to travel so well, and they would go in and they'd buy up all the tickets. You know, I mean, our season ticket holders like, wow, you're going to double? Yeah, okay, here you go. And then you go in there and all of a sudden it's no fun being at home.
2nd and goal. It'll be a timeout here for the Packers. Well, this afternoon, some wild games. Calvin Johnson, 329 receiving yards. Only Flipper Anderson ever had more for the Rams a number of years ago. Phenomenal day. Pryor started the day. Terrell Pryor with a 93-yard TD run, and Oakland knocks off Pittsburgh. Steelers are now 2-5. Chiefs, of course, stay unbeaten halfway through the season. Worst record in the league last year. I mean, go figure. Andy Reid, an incredible job. And Denver had a scare today. They were down 21-7, and then by the end of the day, ran all over the Washington Redskins.
Follow the quarterbacks. If you have one, you have a chance. If you don't, you better be great everywhere else.
2nd and goal. And Lacy. And he's going to get stymied, at least for the moment, by Aaron Henderson.
Well, Aaron Henderson missed him last time. He didn't miss him this time. He got underneath Lacy, and that was a pretty good rib shot right there. There he comes right from this angle. Got his head a little lower than Lacy did that time. It's a proud bunch here on this defense, but it has been no contest tonight against Aaron Rodgers.
They can't get off the field.
No, never have the entire game.
3rd and goal. And Rodgers stepping away, buying time, hits Lacy, and Lacy can't get in. For the moment, he is stopped by Sendejo, the first guy to get there, so it'll be 4th down and goal.
Well, I tell you have to have some respect for the guys. You know, I know it's a tough year, Alan Williams bunch. If nothing else, I put on the tape the other night when they played the Giants, and of course ridiculed after that game in so many different ways. But that defense the entire game played their guts out, played hard. made some mistakes, but that kind of goal line stand in this kind of situation says a lot about the guys.
Crosby for the 20-yard field goal attempt, and this is the most points the Packers have ever scored in the Metrodome, and this their 31st and final visit. 41-17. And will we see another 109-yard return? It's not over yet. Still not over. To the 41, so that's a 50-yard run back for Cordero Patterson.
Not trading him.
Yeah. It's been a merry-go-round in Minnesota. You go back. Joe Webb started the wild card game last year because Ponder was hurt. Then Ponder starts weeks 1 and 3 this year. Castle weeks 4 and 6, with 5 being a bye week. Then there was Freeman last week. Meanwhile, look at that. Over the last 22 seasons, going back to Mikowski in 92, only 4 quarterbacks, period, have started games for Green Bay. And that includes Matt Flynn, who had 2 starts, which led to several $1 million for him as he left town. And the catch is made here by Jerome Simpson all the way to the 40-yard line for a first down.
You know, every once in a while, Christian Ponder will flash something like that. That's a nice looking throw. Physically, he can do it.
Swings it to the outside. Toby Gerhart run out of bounds after a gain of 13. So what do you think is going to happen? The Vikings go to Dallas next week. Who do you suspect will be the starting quarterback?
Well, at some point, you spend all that money for Josh Freeman. You have to make sure he's not the guy. And I think what the Vikings are doing right now is saying, you know, they're looking across the way at what Aaron Rodgers does to them every year and say, do we ever have a guy that's going to compete with him? Well, if it's not Josh Freeman, who is it? Because we've kind of now seen that, you know, we've struggled throwing the football. And it's not like it should be that hard. When you have an Adrian Peterson, you're going to get single coverage. You're going to get free slants and out routes and things that are just going to be given to you over time, because if they can throw it just a little bit with Adrian Peterson and he doesn't have to face all those guys coming down and playing the run all the time, who knows what this offense could be.
Do you give Joe Kapp or Tommy Kramer a shot?
Both. At least a call.
And this is caught by Kyle Rudolph to the 15. Meanwhile, Freeman, who had some really nice games in Tampa a couple of years ago, but you look at the accuracy for him in week 1 at the Jets. That's as a member of Tampa Bay. Last week, 37.7% in the Monday Nighter at the Giants. And overall, 43%, the lowest in the league.
I'll give you the counter to that in a minute.
All right. Meanwhile, here's Gerhart running over his own guys and into the end zone. So Peterson with a smile as he watches his backup do all of the dirty work.
You know, here's a guy that finished, what, 2nd in the Heisman Trophy, and he can't get on the field because of Adrian Peterson. Just nice job, good power. I've got to think that Toby Gerhart, this is probably his last year in Minnesota. It's going to be hard to find running backs willing to come here because of Adrian Peterson. They've already talked about that, but that was a nice little signature play for him. I think he only had like 2 carries coming into this game.
And Peterson had done the major bulk of the ball carrying. As the extra point is good. You would be correct, 2 carries all season long. Peterson 115. You're right, tough to get a guy to come here. .com/mobile to learn more. Onside kick attempt. Bouncing around, and the Vikings are going to come up with the ball, but it didn't go 10 yards. Josh Robinson comes up with it, but the first thing it has to do is go 10 yards. Unless somebody on the receiving team were to have touched it first. And that's a little bit of a conference here just to sort it out. And Scott Green.
It's one of those rare onside kicks that kind of just sat there.
Yeah.
You know, there was like a bomb went off in the middle of it. And nobody could get close to the ball.
Illegally touching the ball prior to it traveling 10 yards. It'll be Green Bay's ball.
Again, had a Packer touched it, then it would be anybody's ball.
It's a heck of a kick. Watch, this thing is just going to bite and bounce straight up in the air. Just never made it the distance.
Has to go to the 45, never got there. And thus the Packers will take over at the Minnesota 42-yard line. Aaron Rodgers. Only 5 incomplete passes tonight.
He has owned this building.
And yet he's, after this one, assuming he wins the game, he'll still only be 3-3 here in his 6 starts. Eddie Lacy to the outside.
Well, you know, we were talking about Josh Freeman a little bit, just to give you the counterpoint. Of course, he had the big year in 2010, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 96 quarterback rating. Everybody thought that he was going to be the man, you know, and his career was going to take off. A year ago at this time, had a 5-game stretch starting on October 14th. Had 5 straight games with a passer rating over 100 there, and led the Buccaneers to wins in 4 of those 5 games. And in the loss, threw for a career-high 420 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So he's done it. He has done it before. And so if you're going to pay him $2 million or whatever they paid him, you have to find out if he could do it again.
And on 2nd and 11, that's Boykin going to the ground as he makes the catch at the 28-yard line.
Was not a good start. A lot of issues with accuracy that he's going to have to prove that he can overcome. But I don't know how, especially with the season now where it is, you don't give him the rest of the year to find out what he is. Because in all likelihood, the Vikings are going to have one heck of a draft pick to deal with next year, and you might have to take another quarterback.
Well, he played all the way in New York on Monday night, but then had concussion symptoms. Not according to Rodney Harrison, but according to the Vikings anyway. Rodney felt that it was an excuse being used by the Vikes to go back to ponder. Well, we'll see next week. So if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you are preparing for.
I'm just guessing. I'm preparing for a tough film day. First of all, after what happened to the Dallas Cowboys today in Detroit, boy, did they give that thing away. But if I had to bet my money, I would, assuming Freeman's healthy, I would probably say Freeman.
And Lacy tonight, that is the full workload, 28 carries. It's a Peterson type night, 93 yards.
You know what else is impressive is the fact that on this offensive line, think about this now. There are 3 fourth-round draft picks and 2 college free agents. That's who their offensive line is. The big money guys, the guys that they went out and got, Derek Sherrod and Brian Bulaga, they're not playing. So these are just a bunch of guys that kind of been thrown together here. You got our rookie left tackle, the only rookie left tackle starting in the NFL on opening day, and Josh Sitton and Evan Dietrich Smith, who was playing behind Jeff Saturday to start last year. TJ Lang, who has some nasty rib shots during the course of the season, coming back and helping Don Barclay, who kind of took over at the end of the year, surprised some people the way he played. And now they have that balance. They're running it, which is helping their pass protection. These guys up front, I kind of like watching them play.
Well, we've been talking about third down all night. Can't beat it to death, or we have already. But you saw those numbers. You saw those numbers. It's just telling it like it is.
Here's that offensive line. And they've been doing a lot of damage, both inside and out. There's a little bit of that outside game that we've been talking about. Barclay coming off on the double team, getting up to the second level. Evan Dietrich Smith inside with a pancake block to spring James Starks. Running backs look good. I think that's really helped this team too, don't you? The addition of these younger backs, bringing Eddie Lacy in here, and took a little chance. Wasn't sure what he was going to be physically, but boy, he is looking like he did in that championship game a year ago.
Well, that draft told you all you needed to know when you picked 2 running backs in the first 4 rounds, the other being Franklin from UCLA. And then Starks gets healthy, and they're running the ball beautifully. 185 rushing yards tonight. Meanwhile, a 45-yard attempt by Crosby is right down the middle to make it 44-24. Now, you don't think that Frazier and Spielman will get on a plane and go to Hattiesburg, Mississippi this week, do you? Just joking.
They might send Jared Allen. I don't know, but that pretty much says it all right there. It's tough when it starts going bad, and Rick knows as well as anybody. In this league, you have to have a quarterback. It's really just that simple. Even Kansas City went out and got Alex Smith, who fit their defensive and running game style and not making the big mistakes. And that's what it's about. As much as I want to talk about every other position and make them out to be stars, when you have an Aaron Rodgers and he's playing with all these guys who have no experience whatsoever, and they put up 44 points on the road, that's what you need to have.
Well, you need a defense, too. They gave up 34 opening day to Detroit, 31 to Chicago, 31 to Cleveland, 27 in the only game they won against Pittsburgh, 35 to Carolina, getting blown out here 35-10, 23 to the Giants last week, and a pair of 4s tonight. This will be run back by Gerhardt. And did I mention to you they can't get off the field on 3rd down?
I don't think we brought that up tonight, but that's a really good point, Al.
Appreciate that.
Greg Jennings is, man, I just like to get off the field, period, tonight.
Yeah.
There was, you think back to the first half. They had some chances. Remember that crossing route? He's running wide open across the field. But really, this game was probably over much sooner, if not for a poor call and a pass interference call on Tramon Williams against Greg Jennings.
From the 27, 1st down. And the catch is made. Short gain. Gerhardt.
All right. See if we can. So you've never, ever been on a defense as bad as this one. What do you think? Seattle, San Francisco, Denver?
I don't know. No baloney.
I think that's where they cut away before he started talking about that. There.
John Carlson makes the catch. And on 3rd down and 4. It'll be 4th down now, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning in the final ever Packer-Viking game at the Metrodome. 4th and 4. Hunter launching it deep downfield, and there's contact, but there's no flag. There is a flag. There is a flag at the 24-yard line as Tramon Williams got tangled up with Patterson as they went downfield on a 4th and 4.
Defense, number 38. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
And that's Tramon Williams with the interference.
I wonder if Tramon was going for the intentional tangled feet here. When I was watching this thing, he kind of got beat. Cordero takes off. Now watch this little shot. See what I mean? How he tried to slide his feet in there and claim tangled feet. But I'll tell you, when that Cordero Patterson takes off, he takes off. He's not there yet as a receiver, but if there is a new quarterback coming in here one day, he's going to like that guy.
44-yard penalty. And Ponder gets tripped from behind. To the 19 he goes. Dayton Jones Gets the tackle credit for it. Minute and a half ticking down to that point with 2nd down and 5. And Ponder's going to run, and he's going to run all the way into the end zone. Christian Ponder, 19 yards for the score.
Now, one of the problems you have when you play against Christian Ponder, if you want to play some of these coverages in man coverage, 2-man, he almost doesn't even look down the field. He's looking to run in those situations. And let's say this in fairness to Christian Ponder. It's hard to move the football when you're sitting on the bench. His defense never got off the field tonight. They didn't get many opportunities, but they did put up 31 points.
Blair Walsh for the extra point. Onside kick will be our next play. Meanwhile, at halftime tonight, a lot of former Vikings came back to honor Joey Browner. There was Ziggy Wolf, the owner of the team. Joey Browner getting the jacket, going up on the Ring of Honor. And of course, that ring will be moved to their new stadium, which will be built, as we said earlier, adjacent to this one. Part of it on the same footprint as the Metrodome. And there he is, the hard-hitting safety.
Congratulations. Well deserved. Played with his brother in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Lost a little while. A lot of great memories here in this stadium, though. You know, over the years, I've seen some fantastic football games. I know there's been great baseball here as well, and looking forward to the new one, though. I will say that.
Played 2 World Series here, 87 and 91, and Jordy Nelson will corral this one. And Green Bay can pretty much run the clock out. Metrodome, who can forget this one?
Big opening for Tony Dorsett. Look out, he's got great speed.
99 yards and a half.
Dorsett down the sideline, stays in bounds.
Can you believe that?
99 and a half.
I love Don Meredith. Just come down, Frank, all the guys.
Since the 70 merger, by the way, I don't even want to mention this anymore. 15 conversions on 3rd or 4th down.
Have you mentioned that tonight?
No, we haven't mentioned it for at least 2.5 minutes.
I don't remember that.
Tell you what, I'll think about this building. The loudest sound I ever heard at a sports event in the 87 World Series, Kent Herbeck in Game 6 hit a grand slam home run. We were doing the game on ABC. We had one of those meters that measures sound,
right,
and the meter broke.
That's the record.
Along with eardrums. That was the Guinness World Record.
If you break the machine, then that's the
record.
Yeah, you can't beat breaking the machine.
And the Twins won that game, won Game 7, won it in 91. They have a new ballpark, a beauty. Vikings will have a new ballpark in 2 years after playing a couple of years down the line at the University of Minnesota. And Minnesota right now goes to 1-6. So what's going to happen before the trade deadline, if anything?
Fox Sports presenteert de NFL. Spectaculair. Sensationeel. Maar vooral big, bigger, biggest. De NFL. Eindelijk op Fox Sports.
Wie had dat gedacht? Van golfbaan